Hello there. It's about time we spoke about Doctor Who. I haven't just bought this book to do that line. That would be a silly reason to buy the book. These are the unauthorised guide to Doctor Who. These are, and I have all the volumes of it apart from the updated version of the Third Doctor one, and they sit alongside an earlier collection, which is the BBC books. Is it a BBC book or a Virgin book? Whoever published this, Doctor Who handbooks. I have all the volumes of this as well. This happens to be the Sylvester McCoy ones running up until 1996. So that would probably be the movie. Yeah. So there we go. Have that as well. But the video is going to be about Doctor Who, and more than that, it's going to be about all of the formats of Doctor Who that I now own. And now own is a very specific thing, because up until recently, when I first started buying Doctor Who, I was buying them on DVD. The first series I bought, and it should have been the one that I brought across here, really, if I think about it, was the Fifth Doctor Special Edition, which was the story starring all the 5 Doctors. The first Doctor was played by, I want to say his name was Richard Hurndall, because William Pertwee had passed away at the time, I believe, or he was too unwell to reprise the role. And it was edited into like a feature-length movie type thing. Very good, very entertaining. I bought it from a shop called MCV when they were doing the DVDs for like £9 a time, as opposed to the 15-20 quid that HMV or wherever was doing them at the time. And so even now, if there's a new classic Doctor Who series release, and typically they're animated these days, even though they release them on DVD and Blu-ray, I will buy them on DVD, because that's how the rest of the collection is. Although that said, BBC have also, BBC Worldwide have also been releasing the complete series Blu-ray collection. Doctor Who the collection, this is season 17, this is Tom Baker, Destiny of the Daleks, City of Death. I'm pretty sure that's the one where they run around and spend most of the time running around Paris, because it was shot on location. Creature from the Pit, Nightmare of Eden, Haunts of Nimon, and Sharda. Now, the thing with Sharda is, and it says on the back of here, alright, Sharda is an unfinished story. I believe it was the BBC strikes at the time, but the definitive presentation of the unfinished season finale in 6 episodes with newly enhanced animation to fill in the gaps, plus the 1992 VHS and the 2017 DVD versions. I have the 2017 DVD version. It's in another box set. I can't remember what with though, weirdly enough. I'm also sure I have it as a book, because Gary Russell did the book. It's a story, I'm pretty sure it's a Douglas Adams story. The guy who did Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy worked a lot on Doctor Who, but you know that. I'm saying you know that, you might not do. You might have come to this thinking, oh, I wonder if I'll learn anything about Doctor Who. So one thing you've learned. Who says nobody learns anything on Dave Waffles? What I like about these ones is this is the fancy release, it's limited edition release, so they then re-release them later on. But it's got a lovely, first of all, it's quite heavy, it's quite a dense case, but it's got like this little gatefold here, and quite a decent chunky book of like background information, stuff about the episodes, chapter listings and all that type of thing, and obviously the film, the stories on Blu-ray. They then get really re-released later down the line, and so I have a number of these. I think I have 6 of them now, not all Tom Baker, but they get re-released later down the line in these slimline packages, less of a book. Weirdly enough, despite the fact I have a love of Trial of a Time Lord as a story and the Character of the Valeyard in general, I don't have this as the fancy big version. In fact, I don't know how I've got this anyway, because this came from CEX, and I don't know why I would have bought it as CEX, because unless it just wasn't available anywhere and I just wanted to buy it at the time. But there you go. So that's Doctor Who. Except it isn't, because even though it's a TV series, it wasn't just released in TV format. In 1979, there was things like this. This is Doctor Who Genesis of the Daleks, one of the most popular Tom Baker stories, one of the most popular classic Doctor Who stories. It is, as the name suggests, all about the Genesis of the Daleks. I believe it's a 6-episode story. Each episode is about 25 minutes long, but this is abridged into 2 parts. Part 1 on one side of the disc, part 2 on the other side of the disc, with bridging narration by Tom Baker. It's arrived today. Really, really happy with that. It is a 1979 pressing. I think it was re-released from Record Store Day a few years back, but that wasn't the version I wanted. I wanted the original press, and I'm quite happy with it. If I see more of the classic presses, I probably will pick them up if the price is right. There were other things as well. There were things like this. This is The Missing Stories, The Evil of the Daleks, a Patrick Troughton story. It's incomplete. It's some of the audio is off-air recordings. It's on audio tape, and there's narration done by Tom Baker as well, because, you know, he was a very popular Doctor. Yeah, specially recorded commentary. Tom Baker, you can relive one of Patrick Troughton's classic adventures. Yes, yeah. It says that only episode 2 exists. I wonder if that's on the Lost in Time DVD collection. It probably is. I should have really checked, but I haven't. You then got things like this, another lost story. This is this is later than the tapes. This is CD, Daleks Master Plan. 2 episodes of this have been recovered recently. This was the apart from the surviving episodes on the Lost in Time DVD box set, this is the only way I know of the full story. Linking narration by Peter Purvis. Yeah, and again, thoroughly enjoy it. It includes Mission into the Unknown, the Daleks episode of that, which is quite cool. It's quite nice to hear in this. It's like up until its animated release, the only way that I'd seen the Celestial Toymaker scene. The only way I knew what happened in the Celestial Toymaker was because of a BBC Radio Collection release, which I do have. It's over there somewhere. Pointing over there is if you can see it. It's far, far away. The other thing that was released was this. So this is Doctor Who and the Daleks, which was a book written by, I want to say, David Whittaker, read by William Russell. This is a CD again. It is a 5-hour, 25-minute reading. How did they do that? How did they fit so much audio onto one CD, I hear you ask? What futuristic technology did they use that still requires CDs? It's an MP3 CD. So you either needed an MP3 player like your iPods and that type of thing, or, and it wasn't unusual, a CD player that could play MP3s. At the time, at the time of CD technology, it wasn't unusual that an MP3 that they were MP3 capable. But there you go. There you go. But still, my main exposure to Doctor Who came from DVDs. Now, in one of my last videos, not the last video, which was to do with CD cases, for whatever reason I decided to talk about CD cases, the one before that, which I might link at the end of here, who can say, we still don't plan any of this, I'd mentioned that I don't have any Doctor Who stuff on VHS, because I don't. I've seen Doctor Who stuff on VHS, and occasionally I've looked at it and thought, are you sure that's what you're charging for that? Well, Sapphire and Steel Adventure for 50p the other week. And so as a result, I've not picked them up. That said, I might do. And it's all because of this. Now, this was gifted to me by another YouTuber who I know through a local shop. He goes by the name Michael, the Vinyl Frontier. I am going to put a link, I hope, in the description below. He gifted me this because it's something that he's not interested in but has been left with him. This is the Doctor Who limited edition in a tin. Colony in Space and the Time Monster on VHS. It stars Roger Delgado as the Doctor. It is John Pertwee stories, and I have watched one of them just out of just for the nostalgia of watching something on VHS. And there is something great about watching things like this on VHS, very much like that Adventures of Sapphire and Steel, because these were made for television. And they were shot on videotape. Some episodes were shot or had sequences shot on film, but they were mostly shot on videotape with the idea that they were going to be shown on standard definition, the only definition of its time, television. The major difference was that most of the first two Doctors, in fact all of the first two Doctors, are shot in black and white. The big leap forward was colour television, which is the John Pertwee era, the third Doctor. But now, I mean, even up to Doctor Who the movie, the TV movie, they were all shot for television. I think Doctor Who the TV movie may have been shown in cinemas. Could have been. Later Doctor Who's, the first season of definitely up until the David Tennant era, they were all shot for standard definition. I don't think they were shot for HD. Later seasons were shot for HD. Most recent season also included 4K, but that's by the by. I think that's the right timeline. I may have got some of the details wrong there, but so as a result, I have the first 4 Doctor Who seasons, so Christopher Eccleston up to David Tennant, on DVD. I haven't repurchased them as Blu-rays, even though I know they've been remastered for Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure they were all shot in HD. I'm sure somebody will correct me, probably down in the comments below. I do read the comments. The other thing I really like about these, and one of the other things that makes me think I should collect them, is something I'd forgotten about until I opened the box. And it is this, right? This is the cover of Colony in Space on DVD. This is the cover of Colony in Space on VHS. I really like that. Look at them. Look at them. They look fancy. That looks decent, but not great. There are some books, there are some of the BBC Doctor Who books that look absolutely cracking for covers. They have covers that wouldn't look out of place like this. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the whole point of those covers. But yeah, I just think that even Time Monster. Let's have a look. Let's grab Time Monster from the Myths and Legends box set, which was Time Monster, John Pertwee, and 2 Tom Baker stories, The Haunts of Nimon and Underworld. Nimon, possibly? So, I mean, that doesn't look bad. That doesn't look bad. That looks better than... Well, I think, I could be wrong, that looks better than that. That looks closer to what you were seeing here. Than that. But that's by the by. I don't really spend a long time looking at the front of the Blu-rays, but I just like good artwork, I guess. Or objectively good artwork. Don't come after me saying, oh, you can't say that's good artwork because then you're saying it's better than Van Gogh. I'm not. Doctor Who met Van Gogh, didn't he? Or Van Gogh. But there you go. Yes, so it was really nice of him to gift this to me, because it's now going to start me off on a quest, because there are other stories I wouldn't mind owning on VHS. Things like The Curse of Fendal, Remembrance of the Daleks, Ghostlight. Did I say The Curse of Fendal? I don't mean The Curse of Fendal, I mean The Curse of Fenric. Remembrance of the Daleks. Have I said I have. Resurrection of the Daleks. A couple of other Dalek stories. Then I'm thinking if I'm getting the Dalek stories, it'd be a shame not to get the Cybermen stories. Image of the Fendal, or Image of Fendal, whichever it is. Yeah, it'd be a shame not to get some of the Cybermen stories, particularly something like Tomb of the Cybermen. They're creepy voices, though. It's a lot creepier than the later incarnations of them. Incidentally, if you haven't listened to it, Big Finish Spare Parts. So yeah, I just thought what I'd do is I'd do a whistle-stop tour of some different formats of Doctor Who. I'm sure there are some I haven't covered, and if there are other Doctor Who releases on formats I haven't covered and you're watching this to this point, comment down below. I may not have the facility to play them, but I wouldn't mind owning them. VCD. Were there any Doctor Who's on VCD? I could check, I'm not going to. Betamax, probably, that wouldn't surprise me at all. 8mm film. I have thought about buying 8mm films recently, even though I don't have an 8mm projector and I've no interest in getting one. I just like physical media. Beyond that, there are obviously things like the books. There's, you know, I mean, there are things like the one Russell T Davies Doctor Who classic Doctor Who book he wrote, which is this is Damaged Goods, very very good 7th Doctor story. Later books as well. You know, I've got a lot of books. I might take you on a journey through my books at some point. Picked this up recently for £1. This is The Silent Stars Go by Dan Abnett, who has been around forever. He has been around. If you're a Warhammer 40k fan, you've probably heard of him. If you're a British comic book fan, you've probably heard of him. If you're an American comic book fan, Marvel Comics, I believe you've probably heard of him. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you likely will have done as well, because he's written a lot of stuff. In fact, does this tell me anything about him? Dan Abnett is a novelist, an award-winning comic book writer. He has written over 35 novels, including the acclaimed Gaunt's Ghost series and the Eisenhorn and Revenor trilogies. His Horus Heresy novel, Prospero Burns, was a New York Times bestseller and topped the sci-fi charts in the UK and US. He lives and works in Maidstone, Kent. Despite the fact he's been around forever, he doesn't look like it. I always expect... I don't know why I've never opened the back of this. I've only recently got it. I've listened to it as an audiobook. It was released as an unabridged audiobook on CD on like 6 CDs. Yeah, I've never opened it. I expected him to look a bit like Alan Moore for some reason. You know, like big grey beard, grey hair, looking a bit wild and I nearly said Masonic, but that's not the word I'm looking for, is it? A bit wild and not nomadic. Look at Alan Moore, you'll instantly, the word will come to mind. It might come to mind later. I might do a second video which is just me remembering the word. Yeah, so you got stuff like that as well. But yeah, that's it really. Went off on a wild tangent at the end, but one of these videos, not just one wild tangent after another. I will be back in the near future with a new video where we will talk about something else. Once again, thank you to the Vinyl Frontier for the videos. I am going to watch the other story possibly this weekend. I would like it to be, the weather to be slightly better as well, because that's always good. And I will see you all again next time, but before I go, please like, share and subscribe, because that's a thing that people do. Not all of you, but some of you. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all again next time. Bye for now.